Good afternoon and welcome. Welcome indeed to another edition of the Mark Mosley Show podcast. And yes, we're always broadcasting from the Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Take back control of your life. Call them today. This is very key. 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Now, we have to do this. I don't want to. I wasn't expecting to. But we got to break down the recent struggles to start the season for the Orlando Magic with my great friend, with Orlando Magic Daily. Yes, he is Phillip Rossman-Reich. Phillip, how you doing today?
Doing okay. I mean, I'm doing a lot better than the guys that are in Charlotte tonight. But yeah, it's been rough. It's been hard out there in those streets.
I like the reference. I do. But we have to be serious because if you go on Magic Twitter on your phone, if you go on X, it looks like they're ready to burn it to the ground. I have never seen the Magic fans this angry before with the start to the season. So my question for you as a guy that covers this team day in and day out, what is going on? Why are they this bad to start the season, Phillip?
Yeah, I mean, the easiest thing to say is that they don't know who they are yet. Like Jeff Weltman and a lot of the people in the Magic, don't like using the term culture and identity and all that stuff because I mean, they're just simple, like kind of shorthand ways to describe things that should be pretty basic. But I can't describe what the problem is better than that. We thought this Magic team was going to be this hard-nosed defensive team with a little bit more pace and energy offensively sprinkled in. I mean, the last 2 years, that's essentially what they've been. The offense has been terrible, but they could always rely on their defense to keep games close, to grind them out, and then let their stars shine at the end of the games. Their defense is gone. Like, they outside of the game against the Bulls, really, which they lost, this defense has looked nothing like it looked like the last 2 years. This is not a top 5 defense. In fact, the Magic gave up more than 100. They gave up more than 130 points total. I don't even need to get to the advanced stats, but they gave up more than 130 points per 100 possessions in consecutive games for the first time since that Kyrie Irving 60-point game and that Saddiq Bey 51-point game back in 2022. That was when the team was tanking. Like, they didn't even have Paolo yet. That was, I think, Jamahl Mosley's first year with the team. This is a second year with the team, I believe. This is a team that doesn't quite know who they are. And frankly, the moment they hit adversity, and it's been this way probably since the second half, really the fourth quarter against the Hawks on Friday, anytime they hit adversity, you see those shoulders droop, you see those heads drop, and this team just isn't responding with the tough, frankly, the mental toughness that has defined this team for the last 2 years. And until they find their defense and their response, it's going to be ugly like this because the Magic is much better as I think their offense is. And I really like a lot of the things they're doing offensively. For the most part, it hits ruts that are really bad. They're not outscoring anybody. I mean, they had their 2 best offensive games of the year in the last 2 games, and they got so thoroughly whacked, it didn't matter that they were scoring points. So they got to find their defense and know that that's their identity before they do anything else.
Could they make a case where they're lucky and fortunate they beat Miami on opening night?
100%. They were down, 7 in the fourth quarter against Miami, and look at what Miami's doing now. That's Miami's only loss. Yeah, like I've been telling people this. I would say the game last night against Detroit was the first game that was just like, okay, better team won. Like, Magic didn't have it. Like, even if they defended well, that would have been a really tough one to get. The Magic, I think, could easily be 4-1 as much as they're 1-4, but they could easily be 0-5. I mean, the distance between winning and losing has been extremely small, and the Magic haven't helped themselves in any of their losses. It was 13 missed free throws against Atlanta. It was a bad offense against Chicago. It was, another 12 missed free throws against Philadelphia in a game that was close in the fourth quarter. It was, again, the Magic got 40 free throws last night against the Pistons. They made only 28. The Pistons took 34 free throws and made more free throws than the Magic at 40 free throw attempts. Now, why are the Pistons getting 34 free throws? That's another fair question to ask too. But the Magic are beating themselves and not doing the basic things that they're being asked to do.
We're at Phillip, Rossman-Reich. I want you to know, so the game against Atlanta, that fourth quarter you're talking about, and then the shot by Paolo, which maybe was just this moment of not understanding the clock, or I mean, just a bad shot. I really believed deep in my heart that team back-to-back home games in 2 straight days, they would have came back and destroyed the Bulls. And we're a veteran team. And they didn't do it. And that's when I kind of hit the panic button. Like, what is this exactly? So my question for you is, do you hit the panic button, or do you still give this a couple weeks for this team?
I would, it's too early in the season to hit the panic button. Because, like, look, as frustrating as these games have been, like the Magic, Magic didn't have defensive games this bad last year, but the Magic, I think, had 14 games where they gave up 120 points per 100 possessions. You're going to have bad nights over the course of an 82-game season. And the fact of the matter is, Charlotte and Washington are better teams. I'm not here counting wins and saying, oh, this is a win, this is a win, this is a win. I'm not saying that. But Charlotte and Washington are not expected to be elite competition. If the Magic, back-to-back is going to be tough tonight, but if the Magic come into Charlotte and take care of their business and play the way that we think they could play inspired basketball, play angry basketball like they should have against Chicago, I agree with that. They're back up. They got a win under their belt. They beat Washington again. Atlanta's might be without Trae Young for that game on Tuesday. All of a sudden now you can build 3 wins. You're back to 500. It's still too early in the season to go crazy and to hit the panic button and like everybody's like jumping to conclusions and there are issues. And I don't think the issues we're seeing now are going to necessarily go away. You can get better at them. You can improve at them. But what they're dealing with now is always going to be kind of lingering in the background. Like this is still kind of the foundation that the whole season is being built on, and it's wobbly. At the very best, it's wobbly, if not just made out of paper mache and is about to collapse. But it's still way too early in the season. I would say still a lot of their mistakes are about guys learning to trust each other, learning to trust kind of the new offensive sets that they're running, learning to trust each other on defense a little bit more. Jalen Suggs being out of the lineup hasn't really helped. Just establish some consistency. I think Desmond Bane is still kind of figuring out where he belongs. I think he's trying to do too much to help his teammates, and I want him to be a little bit more selfish and fire away some threes that might be considered bad shots, but that's why he's here. I still think patience is needed, but you can't lose too much ground. And the characteristic of a good team is you can play bad and still win. You got to learn some lessons while winning. And hope, maybe this is coping, but I would tell people like, look, yeah, they lost to Atlanta, but they had a chance to win that game. Like you expect some missteps, not the end of the world losing to Atlanta. Chicago's playing really, really well. Got to give them their credit, but your defense looked better in that game. Offense looked a little rough. Like we expected maybe some of those hiccups. Philadelphia, like, yeah, you played poorly for a half, but you rallied and got within a possession in the third quarter, gave yourself a chance to win before things collapsed. Like the talent is very clearly there that they can win these games and not play their best and win these games. But I think Wednesday night against Detroit was the first time they got blown out. It's the first time they got run out of the gym completely. Like never in the game, in the game for a half, but never in the game after Detroit made their run to take the lead. This has got to be a wake-up call. They gotta start putting some of these pieces together, and they got to start trending in a better direction. Right now, things are trending in such a bad direction that people are legitimately asking for change to a roster that everybody believed in, and no one had any reason to believe that this was going to happen. And I don't know if change is going to mean much because it's still on the players to believe and play for each other. And right now, they're searching for answers too.
It feels like with the fan base, there is heat on Jamahl Mosley to do better. And I even saw a fire Jamahl Mosley Twitter account after a while. Is that valid, though? And the way the NBA works with coaches, is this the first time in Jamahl Mosley's career here in Orlando that some of this is valid, where he is getting heat like this?
I mean, I would tell you this: it's not the first time. Maybe you're not in the dark corners and reaches of Magic Twitter. A lot of fans have had some issues with Jamahl Mosley for maybe not for certainly through last year. And I would tell people like, look, Jamahl Mosley did everything he could to hold that team together. And I always thought it was a credit to him that they got to 41-41. But undoubtedly, the big question entering the season, because the Magic made these huge roster changes, and they're going to be an apron team next year. They don't have the tools to go out and make changes to the roster. So if something goes wrong, it's going to fall on the coach.
Yeah.
And Jamahl Mosley was always entering this season with the big question of, can he take a team that he developed and grew from the ground up into a team that wins a championship and competes for a championship? And the number of coaches who are able to do that is frankly just Mark Daniel and Greg Popovich. Like the coaches don't do that. And so regardless, even if the Magic had this crazy successful season and, got home court advantage, made it to the second round, all of these questions are going to be swirling around Jamahl Mosley. So I give Mosley credit. He understood that they couldn't come back and run the same offense, and they tried something new. They tried something different, and maybe I'm in the minority still on this, but I think it is working. I think he has the right idea, and I think that the Magic are better offensively because of the things that they're trying this year, but they've got to execute it better. And it's on Mosley to get them to execute it better. It's on Mosley to figure out how to get the defense to play anywhere near like it did last year. Like we'll take average at this point just because they've been so bad for the last, really throughout the whole season. They're bottom 10 league in offensive rating still. They're bottom 10 league in defensive rating. And stats aren't sticky yet. It's still very, very early in the season. But a lot of this is on Mosley, and the Magic don't have their draft pick this year. They are going to be a second apron team next year. Or they'll be at least a first apron team next year. They'll probably be second apron next year. They don't have room to wait. They don't have room. They cannot afford to miss the playoffs. Let's forget about making the second round. They can't afford to miss the playoffs. And so if this team has tuned out Jamahl Mosley in any way, and I don't think they have yet, but Mosley's got to start pulling some levers to get them to snap to attention. And even having said that through 5 games, that probably hints that something's coming in the offseason at the latest. A lot of pressure's on Jamahl Mosley right now, and this is the first time he's really experienced this kind of pressure to deliver results and not just vibes.
Look, dude, they gave Franz big money. They gave Paolo big money. This is not just on the coaching staff. I look at those players, and I love these guys. I root for them personally. I've seen them develop with the Magic, but those 2 guys, they have to grab the bull by the horns. They got to be superstars on and off the court, and they got to take this team to the next level. I think there's pressure on those guys. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, no, I absolutely feel that way. And I think one of the frustrating parts of the early part of the season is, to some extent, Paolo and Franz just look a little timid. Like it's not that they're not producing, but they're not producing superstar level numbers. Like, honestly, I was really encouraged by the way Paolo played in the first half of the game on Wednesday, because it felt like in several moments where he was just like, we're not losing this game. Like, I'm going to do everything possible to win this game. He had 10, 7 and 5, 10.7 rebounds, 5 assists, or 6 assists in the first half. He was grabbing offensive rebounds. He was making the extra pass. He was getting the lane, defense collapsing around him. He was making quick decisions. Like, he was doing everything this team has asked him to do. And again, like, he was 10 for 17 from the foul line. And to me, that just speaks to a lack of attention to detail. Like it's a small thing, but the Magic missed, what was it? The Magic missed 12 free throws. 11 of them were from Paolo and Franz. Franz missed 4. Paolo missed 7. Those guys are getting to the line a lot. They're living at the line, and the Magic are just leaving points on the board. Their stars are leaving points on the board, and those are deflating because they're frustrated with themselves. But look, the Magic's whole system is based on Paolo and Franz being your leaders and main creators. When they get frustrated, when they don't pass the ball, when they don't move the ball, when they're not moving quickly, this whole thing collapses really, really quickly and really, really fast. And with everybody around the league playing at such a faster pace, and everyone around the league knowing that the best way to beat this Magic defense is to beat them in transition, everybody's looking to run on this team right now. And when lower your head, when you're still yelling at the refs, Franz has been doing that a lot. When you're yelling at the refs because you're not getting foul calls, even though you've got the number one free throw rate in the league, it's you're just putting yourself behind. And so I do think you're right. Paolo and Franz need to be leaders. Like this is a leadership moment for these two guys. And frankly, like right now, like they're young. I get it. They're failing it. And it's going to be on them to lead this team tonight against Charlotte.
It's going to be a great game coming up tonight. Before I let you go, and I appreciate you coming on, Phillip, on a lighter note, I'm excited that Wesh TV said we're going to put games on regular broadcast TV. And I wrote on their Facebook page, put every game on free broadcast TV. Do you like this, though, for the Orlando Magic?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like getting the broadcasts. I mean, maybe not right now because they're playing so poorly, but getting the broadcasts on as many TVs as possible is obviously a good thing. So many people have cut the cord from cable. The FanDuel Sports Network situation is still really, really like shaky. I do think the NBA, I mean, we've seen this throughout the league with the collapse of the FanDuel Sports Network and the regional sports networks. A lot of teams are doing this now. They're putting their games on local TV to make sure that there's still access. But I think what this is all pointing to is that the NBA is getting out of the regional sports network business. The Magic are not the first team to do this, and they're only doing it for 10 games, very kind of limited stretch.
Yeah.
I think it is a preview of the direction that local TV broadcasts are going. I think the NBA is going to try very, very hard to get all of their local TV deals under one umbrella, do something similar to what MLS is doing, and put that all on Amazon Prime, use their partnership with Amazon Prime so that streaming is very much the future of how you're watching the NBA. I know everyone's kind of complained, like there's all these different places to watch games now. There's games on Peacock. There's games on Amazon Prime now. This is the future of the league. This is the future of sports television. You may not like it, but it's the direction everybody's going. These companies are throwing a lot of money. But I like that the NBA is not going full MLS because I don't think MLS has benefited from going behind a paywall. It's been I don't know if it's been a disaster for them, but for especially that sport and that league still trying to grow its base and trying to grow fandom, putting all of your games behind a paywall does not help you build a local fan base.
No, I think it's hurt Orlando City. I'm not going to lie to you.
I think it has, absolutely. I think it absolutely has hurt Orlando City. But I think the NBA is trying to do a 1 foot in, 1 foot out approach. I think they want all of their RSNs under one umbrella so that they can control it. And obviously the Knicks and Lakers won't do that because they own their own RSNs. They want to get as much under one umbrella as you can. So if you're an NBA fan, there is one place you can go to watch every game. But I think they want to give their teams the ability to say, hey, go make your own deals. Like make sure games can be seen as easily and conveniently as possible in your home markets. And so West just had a very good partnership with the NBA now and with the Magic. I believe our friends from West will be traveling for all the NBC broadcasts. So I think Kristen and Darren are going up for Kristen Lago and Darren Stoltzfus are going up for the game on Tuesday in Atlanta to give you like a pregame show before the NBC broadcast, before the NBC Coast to Coast broadcast of that game.
Okay.
I believe they're doing that for every NBC broadcast game. So like they're all in. They're all in on the NBA and covering the Magic as the NBC affiliate. So I think this is ultimately good. And I think this is you're probably going to be able to find the Magic within the next 5 years, all 80 some odd games, all 82 games, or all the games that are locally broadcast. I believe you'll be able to find it on Wesh or on CW18. And again, very much like the old days, like the pre-Fox Sports, Florida days, games were either on Sunshine Network or they were on CW18, the Magic Television Network. I think the league is transitioning their RSNs back to that. So I'm glad to see the Magic putting their foot in the water before they probably dive in head first when their FanDuel deal runs out.
Okay, what can we check out with your coverage going into tonight then?
Obviously I had my immediate reaction to the game. The written version is up on OrlandoMagicDaily.com. The audio version is up on Locked On Magic. You can find that wherever you download podcasts as well as on YouTube. I'll have a complete recap of tonight's game as well. I usually post my post-game recap, my post-game podcast at around midnight. So, right after, just pretty much right after the game, you'll be able to find my immediate reactions. Hopefully it'll be happier times, but I may be angry like I was last night.
I understand. Phillip, thank you so much for coming on and good luck with your coverage coming up tonight. All right.
Appreciate it as always, Mark.